how do you understand the roles, the division of labor, the roles between parents, parish, and let's say we're in a community where there's a school, the Orthodox school or the Orthodox educator. Does the parish pretty much, is it responsible for the catechism? Is it the parents that really are like the bulk of the catechism? Does the school play a role in catechism, or should it just be, the secular worldly knowledge? And how do you see that? Because I think there's not a lot of clarity in practice today on the ground.
No, I mean, I think it's one of the most important questions that when you're dealing with Orthodox schools to sort through. I mean, we have examples of Orthodox schools that, let's say, are parochial in the sense that they're under the authority of the local parish, of course, is under the local bishop, right? We have Orthodox schools that are maybe in a certain way under the diocesan structure, but not directly under a parish. And I know that for sure we have Orthodox schools that are, let's say, operate with the blessing of a bishop, but they're independent entirely from the diocesan structure. And I've had various conversations with different people about this. I think it's there's a lot of layers, I guess, what I'd say to the conversation. I would say, for our time today, that I think it's important to understand that the family, in the marriage service, we see a new kingdom being established, right? A new king and queen of a home, which is a sacred kingdom. St. Gregory talks about the role of the wife to build this kingdom, right? And then the husband, of course, protects this kingdom, and that exists all within the kingdom of God, which is why St. John says, that the home is a little church. But it's not a little church because it's apart from. It's a little church because it's an expansion of the church, and it's let's say the home is a cell that has life within the church, the body. And so if the home is isolated or separated from the church, then it starves. So certainly the home operates within the church itself. I tend to see educational institutions as coming along, and the parents are entrusting that institution with a part of the responsibility that the parents have. They're not giving it up, but they're still governing and overseeing that experience, but that they are entrusting those teachers, those administrators, with their children to walk alongside them and perform that part of that sacred task that they've been given, which in itself isn't a giving up in the sense that it's broadening and deepening the community for the children, right? Of people that can hopefully positively shape them and guide them and nurture them. The question of, who does the catechism, certainly in a local parish, the priest governs the catechesis, whether he's doing it directly or he has people doing it for him.
To clarify the terms here, catechism in this case is post-baptismal, and it's basically the formation of the phronema, the mindset, and that's what we mean by catechism, or is there more to it?
Well, I just mean that the parish priest is the leader of the local community, right?
Sure.
And so he may have, let's say he has someone working with the youth, right? He may have someone doing, some educational programs for the children. Not necessarily, I'm talking about here church school, but maybe church school, but I'm not sure. Well, just educational programs in general. But if you look at it from a function of time, right? I think at the end of the day, we would want to say, who are our children spending the most time with? And it would seem to me that would be the parents. Right. So if you just look at it from the perspective of time, then the primary responsibility would fall to the parents, that you're eating meals together in the evening, preparing meals and eating them and cleaning up afterwards, on the weekends, in other words, the home is actually a center of formation. It's not a hotel.
Sure. Sure.
That life is actually occurring there.
Right. So let's just try to describe the ideal school, if we could, from our perspective. Let me throw it out there, and you can tell me if you think this is right and where it's wrong and where it's good. From the Orthodox perspective, it seems to me that there can't be an Orthodox school without an Orthodox school, meaning like consciously, this is a school probably connected to a parish and under a diocese. So, and you're in that parish or close to that parish or in a parish very close, and you're sending your kids to an Orthodox school. It says we're an Orthodox school. This is what we do here. We educate in the context and in part orthodoxy along with it in whatever way, you know, that's the discussion. How do we do that? But it can't be an Orthodox school without an Orthodox priest present, blessing, leading in prayer, teaching catechism if they're going to put that in the actual curriculum of the school, and leading in divine liturgy, having the children actually participate in divine liturgy and commune from the priest as a part of the community, not as a separate church, but as a chapel, let's say, connected to the church, and the kids come and they participate in the worship of the church along with the Orthodox divine liturgy. That's essential. You can't talk about an Orthodox school if you don't have the presence of the representative of God, the priest, and he's teaching the people. And then the overarching kind of vision of what are we doing here is not strictly academic, but it also includes the formation of the vision, formation of the children's vision of life through the prism of Christ, the saints, the church, the meaning of life. And so they're looking at all the various topics that they'll be looking at in the created world through the revelation of God and through the teaching of the saints. And so there has to be kind of an organic unity without it being, just one big catechetical process, because obviously there's practical and important things they need to be taught to function in this world. But the spirit and the outlook is driven by the Orthodox worldview. And like you said, the parent would see this as an extension of their work. They wouldn't abandon it to the school. They would be vigilant as a part of the whole process, but they would essentially contract out the priest, the teacher, to participate in what is their key role. And that's, practically speaking, I think most parents, a lot of them have to work two jobs. They're gonna need something like that. It might not be the most ideal. The Orthodox perspective is that the mother should be home with the parents, and maybe they should even be at home educated. I don't know if that's the Orthodox vision or not, but I want to try to put some flesh on the bigger questions, because that's where a lot of people are right now. They're trying to figure out these questions.
And I think it's difficult in our culture today to talk about the Orthodox, right? There isn't really, if we're talking about models and structures, there isn't really the Orthodox way, right? I mean, if you're in the ancient world, you've got those who are getting formal educations, let's say of study or doing tutorials. We're talking about classical education itself, the culture itself, the way that people live. It's passed on from generation to generation, just in the way of life that's around them, right? Their minds and hearts are formed and shaped through the storytelling, through the interactions with the multi-generational family living within a village or a community, generation after generation. And so, when we're talking about it like a St. Cosmas or certain parts under the Bolsheviks and the communists, et cetera, you've got underground schools, you've got secret schools, you've got you have a lot of, you're dealing with the time and place that you live, and there's kind of that center core of what it represents.
The core. We're looking for the core. Yeah, we're looking for the core.
So,
what is?
But within the context of what would the ideal American Orthodox school look like? Well, I mean, I think it's going to take shape based on where it's in a certain way culturally and economically and located. There's certain places that I think are much more amiable to Orthodoxy in America. Locations and places than other places. Certainly, living in urban is quite different from living in rural. And then you're kind of working from the standpoint of the assumption of, it sounds like a 5-day-a-week school where both parents are working.
Not necessarily, but yeah, that's yours. Your school is 3 days a week with homeschooling, basically. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah. So our school, the lower school, when they're in K through 5, are Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday at school, and at home on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or
so it's a mix. That's a great model. I like that model personally, but it's rare. I don't see that happening very often. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but I think most are still operating on a I mean, Father Josiah Trenham has something close to yours, I think, but out of necessity because of the state
Yeah, I mean, I
laws.
think he and the St. Constantine School, John Mark Mills, I think they both try to offer, like 1 day a week, 2 or 3 day a week, and 5 day a week, in order. And I think that, I think it's a good idea to try to accommodate the different needs,
Sure.
right? Because if you have a single mom, it's a very different, let's say social family dynamic at home than if you've got, a single income that can support a whole family.
Sure.
And, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the way is a little bit hard to nail down, but I think when, is the
what's
question,
the common denominator? What's the common denominator? Not the practical.
Well, I think to your point, I mean, I think the practical starts with, yes, I mean, the kids should be able to participate in the liturgical life of the church in the school, right? They should be appropriately fasting within the school. In other words, their life at home and their life at school should be a kind of a seamless experience of orthodoxy.
Right. They're being in school. They're getting the same messages embedded that they're getting from the parents. There's not a break, which they would have in a public school for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the hope. I think though, that what the experience within the school goes much deeper than just, let's say, the curriculum picked, or so for example, like I would say, you give me a book and I'll teach it. Right now, we could say, give me a good book, and that might be better, but we can take a book that we strongly disagree with as Orthodox, and it can be taught extremely well and be extremely effective. So I think it's the pedagogy and the teacher that are much more important in an Orthodox school than it is the curriculum. I'm not dismissing the importance of curriculum, but I think in America we can say, well, if we have the right curriculum, then everything's going to go well. And I'd say, well, no, if you have a properly formed teacher and the proper pedagogy, then things will go well, even with a bad curriculum, although you'd much rather have a good curriculum.
Sure.
And so, so I think just like we've talked about the importance of parents, we're now talking about the heart of a school are the teachers, because they're the ones who are actually with the children, informing their hearts and minds. And so then it comes back to what is the phronema of not just the school, right, abstractly, but actually the teachers themselves.
Right.